Carter. I want you to indulge me for a moment because I'm going to read some statements from previous presidents that sound eerily similar to what Obama said today. 1979, Jimmy Carter, I am tonight setting a clear goal for the energy policy of the U.S. Beginning this moment, this nation will never use more foreign oil than we did in 1977. Never. That wasn't true. Ronald Reagan saying we will continue support of research leading to development of new technologies and more independence from foreign oil. That was 1981. And then George Bush, the senior, saying, I will put incentives back into the domestic energy industry. There is no security for the U.S. in further dependence on foreign oil. Bill Clinton said the same. Dan, when you look at this, I mean, we have been talking about lessening our dependence on foreign oil for over 30 years. Is there any reason to think it's going to happen in the next 2?
No, Jerry. And the truth is, and the record bears it out, the more the government gets involved in this and starts micromanaging this, the worse it gets. And we didn't have a problem until we created the Department of Energy, or right there about that time. So it seems like if the government can get its hands in things, it goofs it up. We ought to just free the market, let people go out there and produce energy and put Americans to work and drop the price of energy instead of trying to figure out new ways to squander money and talent and go off and celebrate Brazil instead of celebrating America.
And that brings up a whole other kettle of fish, but I want to give Doug an opportunity to respond to that. Should we just drill, baby, drill?
Well, I think we have to drill, baby, drill, but I think we need the federal government to provide positive incentives and encouragement rather than standing in the way. And the permitting process has blocked drilling from going on. We could consider drilling in the Arctic region in ways that arguably we haven't so far. I think there's a lot more we can do as a government and as a people. We're not doing it.
All right, Maria, to you. Brazil, somebody brought up Brazil. Let's talk about that. The president's saying that we have to reduce our dependence on foreign oil, and he's also saying, hey, let's give billions of dollars in subsidies to Brazil to drill off their shore. Isn't there a problem with that thinking? Isn't it kind of, contradiction to say on the one hand, we can't do it at home, but you do it down in Brazil?
Well, I do agree. It is comes across as a contradiction. I also would agree that it's hard to enact sweeping energy policy changes overnight. So I think a step forward in that to basically form, good trading partners. And I would say Brazil is a good trading partner, as is Canada, as is Australia. We get petroleum as well as uranium from those friendly countries.
Dan, do you agree?
I do agree, but actually the president mentioned Canada today. Canada is our #1 supplier of imported oil, and right now on his desk is a permit to allow the construction of a multi-billion-dollar pipeline to bring more Canadian oil. They've been kicking that ball down the field for over a year now. He could sign that and put Americans to work next week producing more energy that would help limit our price increases, but he won't because of the green lobby and what it means to this administration.
Wow. So obviously options on the table there. The big one that the president does talk about all the time, green cars, green energy. Doug, why don't we just turn to that and then green energy can supply all of our needs?
Because it isn't going to meet the needs that we have. It's at this point an open question, very much an open question, whether green energy will produce jobs, produce what the president says. And with the 2015 deadline now for having the federal government going to hybrids or electric cars, it's anyone's guess what that will mean and what it'll do to the automobile industry.
Maria, to you, when you look out at the future, what is going to be the bright new shiny object in energy? Is it going to be something like green cars, or is it going to be nukes? What are we going to be using 20 years from now?
Well, absolutely, I see more nuclear power in our future. But I also agree. If you look back at what we did when we had the oil embargo, we basically tried to take oil out and replace that with nuclear energy. I think we need to do something very similar in the transportation sector. We need to stop that dependence on oil, and one of the ways we can do that would be through the use of electric vehicles. Right. But it's going to depend on the penetration and the market penetration on those electric vehicles.
Dan, last word here.
Yeah, Jerry, I'm sorry, but we're not going to run cars on electricity. We need fossil energy, and we need liquid fuels. The United States, according to the Library of Congress, has the largest supplies in the world. The government owns them, won't let us touch them. It's about time we put Americans to work doing that, not coming up with these harebrained schemes that they keep recycling and regifting back to the American public and then giving us the price tag for.
And the debate continues. Year 31. It goes on and on. Maria, Dan, and Doug, thanks so much for helping us out.